Yo, Connie, your house. I did wood in your house. Hypocrisy sat in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. That's in the front of the crowds. Paragraphs holding it down. Anybody can get it. Come to us for your news and opinions. We got a voice, there is no choice. Music voice in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast, it's like cruiserweight action. Your house is a perfect distraction. Pumping so your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action.
Are you ready?
Fans, it is I, the voice, Joshua Joseph, and I'm here for a little special interview. You know what it is. You've heard it this week. I've been talking about it, at least if you know the timeline I'm in right now and you're not. Yeah, because it's pre-recorded because, well, you can't just walk into hell and ask them, hey, can I do interviews? You gotta make some paperwork. There's a guy you talk to. He's pretty red. He's a devil, and he's not that scary. I mean, I've seen scarier. I've seen Grun yelling drunkly at Call of Duty players, usually 12-year-olds too, because that's usually what you find in a chat there. But anyways, yeah. Back to where we're at, back to what is reality. This one is a special one. If you're a window licker from all the way back when I used to do a podcast called Under the Influence Stories, that's a little callback to what the voice used to do. I had a guest. I had two guests. Some would call them cousin brothers. Some would call them beast of tag teams. Some would call them, hey, watch those guys because they're looking kind of iffy. You know who I'm talking about. If you know, if you don't, we're going to bring them on here in a second. But I just want to tell you guys the first time I spoke to this man, me and him, we had a epic discussion, and it was one of the Voice's highest ranking shows. So this is going to be a treat. I cannot wait to bring him back on. And ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourself, get the popcorn, because welcome to hell. He is here.
Joshua Justin. Huh. I'd ask how you're doing, but I don't give a shit.
Whoa. Wow, that's see, Chaddy Nailz is already coming in with the aggression, what we love. Look at the anger in his face. He's
Why don't you look me in the eyes when you say that, bud? Look me square in the eye and say that. Bet you can't.
I definitely cannot. Those eyes are definitely crazy eyes, but I am so happy to see you back here at the Window Liquor Studios where we run things through in your house. Chaddy Nailz, this is your first appearance on In Your House and a product that we do. It's good to see you. How's hell been?
Well, it doesn't make much sense to me, hell. I'm a straight white American male. This place wasn't made for me.
Well, hey, being one of your demographic, I'm going to agree with you because, I might be punching my ticket there with just this interview itself. But let me ask Chaddy Nailz with a Z. Let me ask you, what sent you to hell? And what's next?
Yeah, what sent me to hell and what's next? It was that big gold-faced goofy bastard travesty. He's a specter of judgment. He's a supernatural force. He apparently didn't like how I treat people, which, by the way, a dumbass like you can attest, I'm really good to people. I treat people with nothing but respect, you worthless piece of shit. And so he thought he took it upon himself or itself, whatever it is. And I'm not talking the 2024 itself. I mean, like, entity itself. He took it upon himself to send me to hell.
Hi there.
Yeah. I hate that voice.
Yeah, I could imagine hating that voice. Yeah, we had a little sound clip jump in there. Sometimes travesty, I mean, he is a paranormal beast, and he did jump in there on that one.
He's a paranormal B word. He's a paranormal butthead. No one sends me to hell except for him, apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did accomplish that feat, and I mean, let's talk about it, because have you even been able to open up about this whole thing being in hell? I mean, you
I
were
have
literally
tried. The
sent there.
Wi-Fi down here is terrible. My
It is.
God.
It is.
No, you were the only man. I'll give you credit, dumbass. You're the only one smart enough, dumbass, to bring me onto your show, dumbass. So, no, thank you so much. You have a great brain, and I admire you fully.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's a compliment coming from you, right? And we all know that. Anybody who's a window licker out there, you've seen it. You know, Chaddy nails his whole reputation. And speaking of the golden guy, he look. We sent some feelers out there because Chaddy Nails, you're back into the wrestling world. You're doing your thing. You're out of hell. You're ready to rock and roll. And some people liked you, and some people wanted to reach out. And
They liked me.
yeah, they liked you, and they wanted to reach out.
Me, right? That's why you brought me. You like me, right?
Exactly. I love you, man. I think you're a fantastic feature. I think
anyone who ever calls you a dumbass, let me know. I'll go kick the shit out of them. How's that sound?
Well, I think when you watch back to this, you'll realize what you're saying, and I can't really tell you about the last guy who called me a dumbass, because it was you. I mean,
is that an Asian guy? I
know
you once. No, different you.
Different you. Yeah, he's more Hungarian. But speaking of people who wanted to reach out to you and commend you on coming back, we have to bring it up, and here it is. You got your first video.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, hi there. So you want to talk about Chad nailz? Where do I start? Well, he's not a very nice guy. I've been trying to make him, help him understand that being a nice person for years now, and well, I just don't think it's working. I sent him to hell for a little while. I got him a really good doctor. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I tried my best with him, and well, I guess I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, I couldn't fix Chad nailz. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to put him back. Maybe I'll send him back to hell if I have to. Just let me know, okay?
I think there was a typo there when he was speaking. He said, "I'm sorry for sending him to hell, and I'll never do it again." I don't know if there was some AI glitch, Terminator, any of that stuff going on, but there's no way he would want me to stay here, let alone have to come back. I don't believe it.
Well, okay, you don't have to believe it, but I mean, I put my feelers out there, and Travesty sent this video, and
it can't be true because I don't want it to be true. Does that make sense?
Okay, so it's your truth. And
I didn't know there was a separation between my truth and Big T truth, but I'll indulge you, Mr. Postmodern.
Well, sometimes when you work in this racket, you kind of have to adapt to the times. But speaking of that, how did you adapt to your first night in hell?
Have you ever seen Little Nicky?
Yes.
Okay. They don't use pineapples. They use the whole pineapple tree.
Oh, God.
Oh, now you want to come down here? I can see it in your pupes. I'm looking directly into those little black pupes, and you want to be down here with me, sliding down the coconut tree. What, you just fall out of the coconut tree? Jeez.
My goodness. This is already off the rails, but I love it. But let's get you can't do that in hell.
No, my mom's watching. So, Mom, yeah. I know you helped me go to rehab, but I have never done drugs in my life.
Ever. And that's the word of Chad nailz. So the word is good. But how does it make you feel seeing the man who sent you to hell and hearing him say that he might have to send you back? Like he's in this illusion that you're so easy to get over on. How's that making you feel, Chad Nailz?
Nothing makes me feel worse than when I see and hear people cheering for that gold-faced bastard when he walks out there and gives people hugs and they have their signs and they make a lot of noise and they all boo the shit out of me. So how does it make me feel when a guy that everyone loves sends a guy that everyone hates to hell? Doesn't make any sense. I don't like it one bit. And I don't like you that you keep bringing it up.
Well, I mean, that's
forgot for a split second. I thought I could forget about hell, but you just keep toasting my buns with it.
Well, I mean, that was the part of the agreement when I made it with Lucifer to get this interview, that I had to name drop hell in there quite a bit. He said,
"Oh, in exchange, he offered you the biggest coconut tree to slide down." I understand.
Yeah, but I thought it was like, you know, I would get a coconut tree to have coconuts, but now that I'm hearing it from you, it doesn't sound too pleasant. I don't think that's going to be fun, but who knows? You know, I've never tried it. Might like it. Who knows?
This is a wrestling podcast, right?
Yeah.
Well, wrestling's pretty fucking gay, if you ask me. You got dudes running around in short shorts or their underwear or wearing makeup. I mean, it's the gayest thing I've ever seen. Maybe that's why I'm in hell. Maybe because God or travesty or whatever force was like, oh, this guy's too gay. Send him away. I don't know.
Maybe there's a possibility. And honestly, nobody will ever know what's going on in Travesty's mind. It's impossible.
I think it's just high-pitched screams. I think that's all he hears.
That's a good possibility. Now, let me ask you, since you have been back, you've had a match or two.
I've had 3 and I've lost all of them. Thank you for reminding me again. God damn it.
Well, I apologize for that, but you've had 3. How does it feel to be back in the ring?
In all seriousness.
Yes.
So here's Dustin now. I've never done an interview with Dustin. In all seriousness, I was going crazy not wrestling. I finally found something that made me feel fulfilled. Now I got 4 kids. I get it. They're supposed to make me feel fulfilled. Fuck that. I need something for me. And now that I'm back, I'm having the time of my life. My body's slowing down a little bit, so that kind of sucks. But the mouth's as good as ever, baby.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is. As always. Now when we talked previous, we had your tag team partner, your brother cousin, Let Her Rip with us, and like I told both of you, I really did like fall in love with your guys' characters. The energy that you two bring to a match, to a promotion, is so much fun to me. I mean, we met down in GLWA, I believe.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Yeah, and I just, from the moment I heard they were telling me, Jaden Quick told me about your guys' gimmick, and I'm just sitting there at the announcer table, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So he's like, hey, you need to go around, get your announcer cards, get what everybody wants. And I come to you and Let Her Rip, and I say, hey guys, I'm the new ring announcer. I need to know what you guys want said. Your guys' card is still the only card I kept from that show. It's in my car. I have it every time I go. Before I go to a show, I always look at it because I just want you to know, Dustin, that show, the way you and Let Her Rip brought me into your world, it really made me feel like I was meant to do something in wrestling. Because 2 guys who were already having the time of their life, doing exactly what I wanted to do and be a part of, like, brought me in and wanted me to be a part of their gimmick. That truly made my wrestling day. And
well,
it was awesome.
No, I honestly appreciate you saying that, because we don't know the effect we have on people. Right? I know I go out there and I run my mouth and I try to get everyone angry so that when I get my ass kicked, they're happy. But having someone like you just said, hey, it's whatever you want to say. I don't want to say inspire because that's giving me too much credit, but you help me understand that I have a place in wrestling. That makes me feel awesome. That's what I want to do for everyone, because that's what someone did for me without even realizing it. I went to a show back in 2019 and I saw 2 guys, and I'm gonna name drop them, and I hope they're not offended because it's a compliment. But it was Cletus Farmer and it was Fire. Oh shit, he's from FWF. Firestorm. He's got, or not Firestorm. Either way, it's Cletus Farmer. That's the other guy, and they're both shaped like me. and I'm watching the crowd be so entertained by them. And I don't have a fucking Dolph Ziggler body or a John Cena body. When I see 263, 300-pound guys going and the crowd's eating it up, that's when I knew in my heart, I need to be doing this and I can do this. And so hearing that from someone else makes me feel really fucking special. Honestly, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, no worries, man.
And I regret ever inspiring you to do anything in this business. If it were up to me, yeah. Oh, you think you're funny, huh? You think I'm funny?
Oh, I think you're funny. And you see, fans, this is exactly why I love Chad Nailz with a Z, because he so fluidly just goes in and out of this stuff and makes it entertaining.
You're talking dirty to me, baby.
Fluid, I know, I am. That's what I'm trying to do.
The coconut tree, people. He's thinking about it in and out.
It's so funny too, because the last time I was in Vegas, we went to this interactive art museum. And it was out of I think they call it Area 15 or 51, something. It has to do with the Rosalind stuff or Roswell stuff. But anyways, so I'm in there, and the beginning of this exhibit is a supermarket that they've set up, that this alien creature has taken over this town. So like in the deli section, you have a tattooed turkey.
Okay.
So it literally had tattoos on it, and it was a turkey. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't get any of this stuff, but it was funny because I go into the beer aisle, and sitting there, this reminded me of you so much, was a fake beer called Gender Fluid Beer. And I just, if they weren't charging $60 for the can, I was going to get it and I was going to mail it to your house, but they said $60. I was like, get out of town. It's a can of beer that's not even probably beer. There's probably just water in here. I'm buying it for a joke. That's a little out of my price.
If there was actual gender food in there, I'd be a little pissed. So good thing you didn't eat it.
That would be so epic if there was actually something weird in there. But that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to characters, when it comes to people doing this for a living, and I connect with them, it's like throughout my day, I'll see shit that reminds me of them and what they do. And, you know, that to me is more rewarding than, you know, having a hit podcast or something like that, because like that's friend building. You know, I know we both have lives and we both do our own thing, our dad things, our, you know, husband things, whatever we have to do. But to have that little connection and to know that you make me laugh just because of shit like that, because you're always poking the bear when it comes to the crowd. Where did that come from? I know you were talking about what inspired you, but where did you say, hey, I have to just go for it? Where does that come from?
Yeah, so that comes from the fact that goes back to the not having a body thing, not having like a wrestler's body thing. So I have to make my mouth work. And so all throughout the week leading up to a show, so I work in banking. I work for a software company and I do banking compliance, really boring shit. But that affords me the opportunity to spend a lot of time thinking. And so I'll just be sitting there thinking, and just a rude phrase will pop in my head. And I got to save that and then I'll find a wrestler that's coming up. Oh, it's a joke about a small guy, Sean Sparks, or a joke about a big guy, Bruce Dillon. You know what I mean? Like, so all throughout the week, I'm just thinking of just asshole things that make me laugh. And I'm like, well, if they make me laugh, maybe at least one other person will laugh from it. And what I was taught in training was if you're going to lose, you can get away with saying more. Well, my whole fucking gimmick is losing. So I can pretty much say whatever I want, get away with it, because at the end of the night, my ass is going to be beat and that crowd's going to be happy that it got beat. So I can get away with saying more. Now, to touch on that, I burned some bridges accidentally by saying some of those things that you brought up. I was feuding with a guy named Big John Cooper, and he was a vet. So my whole angle was I hate veterans. So I went to a veterans memorial. I wrote a Dr. Seuss book called I Hate Vets. I recited at the memorial. Got me a lot of good heat, but it also, there's a promoter in the area who thinks that that's the real, like Chad's real. and that there's not a separation between Chad and Dustin. It's a well-known company. They're decent size. I got a friend that just got in there. I'm not gonna have an opportunity to get in there because of some of the shit I said. So it comes with a cost. But I'm all about, in that moment, what's gonna get the people riled up and get them laughing. I'll throw it out, and if the promoter talks to me afterwards, I just won't use that word next time, and I'll find the next closest thing to get me in trouble. And it's just a recurring thing.
That's awesome, because it's like the stand-up comedians, you know. You get you like you said, your main job, your 9 to 5 may not be the most, you know, like mind bending, but you have that time to think, and you're coming up with these things, and you're putting it to specifically wrestlers that you're going up against or that you want to poke a feud with. And for you to bring up that Dr. Seuss one, wow, buddy. Wow, that was aggressive. I shared that with a couple people who aren't wrestling fans, and they were like, "Oh shit, this is what these guys do." I'm like, "Yep, this is what these guys, especially this man right here. You're gonna find him doing fantastic stuff." And to even go on to that, I believe there was an interview you did with, I believe her name is Push.
Yeah, the Push with Prue.
Yes. You really tried to poke the bear on that one there. I was expecting her to reach back and Rick James slap the shit out of you on a couple of those things. The water incident, that was one of my favorites on that. But it really brings me joy to see things like that, because I know what you're trying to do, what you're trying to get across. And it sucks that we hear that, you know, some promoters may take you a little too serious, but I know there's other promoters out there who would love shit like that. You know, they like that because you do bring an element of fun. And plus, if you have Let Her Rip next to you, you get that innocent kid like guy next to you. So it's you guys have really molded this into something that I think should be highlighted more. I think should be shown, because it's what tag teams used to do, and the successful tag teams still do. I liken you guys to FTR when it comes to when it comes to entertainment.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah, when it comes to the entertainment value, because I believe FTR is one of the best on mics when it comes to tag teams, and they're just shooting. And I see that with you guys. I like what you guys do together. I like what you guys do solo. But it doesn't seem like it really changes the character structure with you guys.
We've always been able to kind of good cop, bad cop it. And in fact, we've had some matches where he plays a straight face the whole time and I'm a heel the whole time. And that's what leads to us losing, is I'll keep trying to get him to cheat and do all these things. And he's too good of a guy to do that. And then of course it backfires on me and I get pinned and then I'm pissed at him. But then the next week we come out and do it again because they love each other. They're cousin brothers. And so I don't know. I appreciate you saying all that. That's cool to hear. I didn't know people. Yeah. I would assume everyone doesn't like us, or if they're nice to us, it's because we're like special needs and they don't want to hurt our feelings. So it's just, it's real nice, actually.
No, I mean, and this is coming from one guy, but I see it. I see Hayden out there when he used you guys, and you guys really brought something, because if you go back there and look at the tag team division now, it's big. It's actually like, it's an actual thing. And I honestly would say you two had a lot of credit in that. And I mean, you talked about how Let Her Rip plays this, sometimes he plays the character where he's being a straight face and he's not trying to cheat and stuff like that. But then you also get those moments where, and we got another video for you.
Okay.
We get those moments where, and I think, you know, Let Her Rip kind of fell down a rabbit hole and he found himself a friend. And I think you know who this friend is. This friend, he definitely stopped in and he's got that sauce. And I think you know the man.
This is my favorite version of him when he's not fucking talking. To be honest, I didn't hear the audio there, but I did read his lips at the end, and it sounded like he said, "You don't suck, Bubbles."
Well, I mean that's a way to take what he said. Yeah, we'll go with that route. He said, "You do not suck, Bubbles," but he used bubbles.
I know. I thought about that after I said it, and I fucked my own joke up. So
yeah,
if we can cut that.
Yeah, we can cut that.
I honestly didn't hear anything in the video though. I don't know. Was there audio for that?
It didn't play through.
It played the video. The video was choppy, and there was no audio.
Okay, let me.
That's why I said this is my favorite Josh Morris when he doesn't fucking talk.
Oh, I thought it was because of the pause he took before he called you a gigantic piece of shit. Like he does take a pause right at that moment. Okay, let's. So
you got your timestamp or whatever, so you know to go back
Yeah.
Cool.
That's exactly what I'm looking for right now. Okay. All right. Okay, we'll pick it back up and I'll go from, we have another video coming in.
Okay.
From somebody. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Well, we've talked about Let Her Rip, and he's kind of gotten into a groove of sorts with a certain guy. I think you might know him. I mean, he does have that sauce.
I am the least happy I have ever been, and I had a coconut tree up my ass a couple hours ago. So
well, I don't want to bring you any more discomfort, but I do want to bring you these nice praises of people for you. So let's just see who this saucy guest is.
What's up, Sauce Nation? It is Sauce Josh Morris. Do I have any words to say about Chad Nailz? Yes, I do. First things first, he is a gigantic piece of shit. Let's just get that out of the way. Next, he is a massive sore loser. I've beaten him in a multitude of different things that include, but are not limited to, Battleship, Tic-Tac-Toe on Let Her Rip's back, an obstacle course on a playground, and then I absolutely demolished him in the Travistyverse Transportal Melee on Sauce, Episode 8, Season 1. So, my words in conclusion on Chad Nailz: you suck, Bubbles! Ah!
So that was really nice of him at the end there to say, you don't suck, not Bubbles. I think that was a really beautiful thing for him to end an otherwise shitty message with.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't very positive. I won't say that, but I mean, he did reach out.
He cheated in all those situations. He cheated at Battleship by having Let Her Rip feed him the answers. He cheated at Tic-Tac-Toe because one of Let Her Rip's wrinkles. He is old as fuck. Distracted me. And then in our wrestling match, I swear to God, there was time travel involved. That gold-faced bastard Travesty was there. I swear I won. All of a sudden, I'm getting pinned. It doesn't make any sense.
Wow. I'm glad to have that insight on this because, I mean, Josh Morris did reach out. We know he's busy. We know he's got a lot of things going. He's got the sauce brewing and all that. But
he's wrestling every weekend, and I'm jealous in real life a little bit. But fuck that guy. You know what I mean?
Yes. But I would like to bring up, though, during your interaction with Josh Morris, Let Her Rip, Let Her Rip kind of stole his swagger. He kind of like Let Her Rip kind of
guy thieving things. Am I right?
Well, you might be right. You know him better than I do. I'll follow your lead on that.
Right, Joshua, get with it. I wear red for God's sake.
You do. But how did you like those jumpsuits that Josh Morris and Let Her Rip pretty much wears? I mean, you have some great pictures out there of you wearing, I believe it's at least half of the jumpsuit.
It's the whole jumpsuit, but I shorted the bottom half.
So you did short.
Yep. Okay. Working with Josh Morris is actually. We've been doing stuff with him for about a year now, and it's revitalized my love for wrestling because I was getting kind of low there and I had backed out. And even when I wasn't wrestling, he would always find something for me to do and some project to involve me in. And by keeping me in it like that, I think that's what really helped me come back because it's like, fuck, I got friends here still. I still got more to do. I still have a creative outlet to use, so let's do it. So in all seriousness, the past year has just made me so invested in wrestling, more than I thought I would be at this point again.
No, I mean, I can understand that. He's a
fucking idiot. You can say it. I'll say it for you. Joshua, I saw you lining up with your lips. I thought
he's definitely a unique mind in
he's
this
a fucking
business.
worthless dirtbag that's never done anything nice for anyone. Next.
Well, I guess we will. Josh Morris, you've seen the sauce that Chad Nails with a Z is given back to you. He returned your sauce. So, you know what? Reach out. Maybe we can get you on here and you can reboot or
I
rebut.
hope
But,
he chokes on his sauce.
well, that's kind of, unless it's chunky. If it's chunky vegetable sauce, then it will be.
I want the sauce so thin that it wouldn't make scientific sense for him to choke on it. That's what I want his claim to fame be. He choked on water. They should have a word for that.
They do. It's called my wife. She's choked on water before while we were driving.
What a coincidence. My nickname's Water.
Oh, wow. Here we go. You see, this is why you got to be on your toes with Chad Nails with a Z, because he will zing you. And then now you're on Maury and he's telling you you're not the father and Chad Nails is. And it's a horrible thing. But back to what we are talking about. So let me ask you, Chad Nails, what's in the future for you? Where are you going? What promotions are you tiptoeing around?
I'm going to heaven. I've decided that someday I'm going to heaven.
You decided it?
Yep, I think that's how it works. I know I'm a good person, and you can know I'm a good person because I told you I'm a good person. That's how it works, Joshua.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not dead, so I don't know how that works. It could be. It's a good theory. I'll definitely, write it down and make sure to keep that in mind in case anything happens to me coming up. But where is your? You've talked about it a couple times. You said Josh Morris helped your creativity, your juices keep flowing this past year. You obviously let her rip. He's a part of your life in this. The fans. I know there's many that have reached out and said some positive things about you. But where is Dustin's mindset in wrestling today for himself?
Right. So I also want to give credit to Travesty because Travesty is my fucking. I have not met anyone in wrestling. No offense to anyone else, but I've not met anyone that I've become closer with. He and I have so much in common. We both used to be city commissioners. We both are 6'3", 300 pounds, both have similar views on life. And so, Josh has been giving us this outlet lately. My whole career, Travesty and Let Her Rip have been doing video stuff with me. And so I want to make sure that he gets credit because I fucking love he and I. You're never going to see it on Travesty because he wears, the long pants, the scrubs. But he and I actually went and got matching wrestling tattoos.
Oh, okay.
So they're bonded for life now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but as for what's next, so one of the main motivating factors I had for coming back, in addition to being like selfish and I needed a creative outlet, was I have 3 sons, and they all want to wrestle. And my oldest is 14 and a half. And so I know in about the next year or so, he's going to be able to train. It's going to be a lot easier for him to train and make connections and go places if I still have a foot in the door. And so really my main thing is I just need to keep my body intact until at least the older 2 boys are in it. And then they can bring in the little brother. Character wise, I have this idea that I'm going to be running at GLWA, hopefully where, I'm 1 in 53.
Yes.
Not me, but Chad is 1 in 53. So the gimmick I want to run is I want to show up with a letter from a lawyer and a doctor's note. And I want to say, I am physically unable to win. It is a medical condition and as such, it's a disability. So you need to accommodate me. And every show I want a new accommodation. So I want the first one to be, oh, my doctor says I can't lift more than 100 pounds. Well, then Sean Sparks' 98-pound ass comes out and he beats me. So the next month, okay, my doctor says I can't be on my back for more than 2 seconds at a time. So now nobody can pin me because, my bad back. Well, then they make me tap out. Next show. Okay, well, can't make me tap out. I got low blood pressure. I could die. And I just want to keep adding stipulations and stipulations until it's just so absurd. But I think that would be such a fun character. Yeah, and I think we're going to pull the trigger here in a couple months.
And I definitely could see you pulling that off and making it very entertaining to the fact that people would show up just to be like, what fucking nonsense can he come up with this week or
What
this
the
month?
man's
And-
gonna do? Yeah, I get it. That's the goal.
Yeah,
That's the goal, is to get people hooked and going. Okay, so he can't get pinned, he can't get tapped out, he can't. It's just I want to see how absurd it can get before it runs its course.
yes, and I want to see some of those fans that have been there and know it to just start calling you out in the middle of it, being like, "What the fuck, Chad? What can we do with you then?"
Right.
But
I think
we're
an idea that Travesty had for me was to have a doctor prescribed referee. So I get my own referee, and we call him my doctor prescribed referee. I think that's gold. There's a lot that we can do with this character.
yeah, I think what you're building on with this portion of it is fantastic, and I like that what Travesty added in there, a doctor prescribed referee. That's playing on a lot of levels, and that's where I want to go into next with you. How do you come up with this? Like, where is your mind when you're? I know we touched on it where you come up with something humorous, you will liken it to an opponent or somebody that you're getting in a feud with, but that's got to come from somewhere. Like, were your parents funny? Did you have funny relatives? Like, where's all that come from?
Yeah, I think being raised on Adam Sandler films. I remember back in the day, my parents were friends with this couple that owned a video store. And so they'd let me take tapes for free, and I would watch Happy Gilmore to the end, and I'd rewind it, and I'd watch it again, and I'd 3 or 4 times in a day, every day for months. And it's just like, I couldn't get enough Adam Sandler. And then you get older, and there's shit like South Park and the stuff that you couldn't get away with nowadays. And even the wrestling back then. I got into wrestling in 2001, so the ass end of the Attitude Era. So we still got Kane having sex with dead women. We got people getting lit on fire. And so I'm growing up during the time when it was really cool to be rebellious. And we don't see that anymore, I don't think. I think now there's a big call to be part of the zeitgeist and the hegemony and be part of the mass, the part of the majority. But back in the day, it was all about disrespect and having fun. And that's what shit that makes me laugh. Like, I have a very thick skin, and maybe it's because I'm a straight white American male that there's nothing anyone can say that could hurt my feelings. But man, I think humor is so important. If you don't have it, why are you doing anything? If you can't laugh, if you can't have fun, why are we dealing with shitty ass life? Right?
Yeah.
And so seems to be a pretty big anti-comedy crowd out there, and I got to be careful with what I say, because I think some of them are fans or some of them are friends even in the wrestling business. I get on Facebook and I have a lot of friends, but they say a lot of stupid shit. Yeah. it's just like, man, I love you guys, but your opinion's dog shit, and I don't want to read it anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you get that because I mean, it's the old saying, opinions are like assholes, and everybody has one, and they all stink. And that's the truth, because we form our own opinions. We get in our own lanes and things like that. But this is what I like about you. You don't stay in a lane. Like, your type of comedy, your type of presentation for your Chaddy Nailz with a Z. I mean, that was a thing. Like, I still say Chaddy Nailz with a Z because of our episode we did, because it was such a thing. Everybody, my own mother thought you were an asshole to me. She's like, why the fuck would you have that dick? That other guy was so nice, but that one guy, he was an asshole. And I was like, that's it. He got you. He hooked you. That's what he was trying to do. And I truly appreciate your guys' approach to wrestling as it is today, because like you alluded to, I'm a fan and a product of wrestling from the Attitude Era. I grew up with it. Like, I was flipping channels between WCW and WWF just to get enough of it. And then going to school and throwing up the 4 fingers to my friend, him knowing the sign, and then another friend's coming down the hall. I know he only watches Raw, so I got to give him the X. And, so that's my comedy. That's where, like, you guys, the first moment you walked out in your shorty shorts, you hooked me. That I knew that you get it. You get what this business is about and what makes guys like me love what you do. How much of an impact do you have on like a link up project creativity, like with Josh Morris or Travesty?
Yeah, so I am very lucky that the troop that I'm part of, those 4 guys, are me, Travis, Letter, Rip, and Josh, some of the absolute most creative people I've met in the business, and I'm glad that they like me enough to let me hang out with them.
Yeah.
And what's really nice, it really depends on the project. For instance, we'll have, so they're sauced, right? Josh Morris does his monthly sauce episodes. That's his baby. He spends his free time coming up with the entire 8-episode, 40 minutes a piece season. And he'll reach out to us. We're in a little group chat and be like, hey guys, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? And we'll add to it. But that's really his baby. Then you'll have Travesty. He'll be like, hey, you guys got a free weekend? I got some videos I want to shoot. We show up. He's got the general idea. We all share. Same thing with me. I have the general. I'm pretty controlling, I'll be honest, compared to the other guys. When it's my shit, I get real possessive over it because I have a very, and I'm sure they do too, but they're just nicer about it. But I have a very specific, like, this is how it has to turn out. There's no other way it can turn out other than how I'm viewing it in my head. And obviously it doesn't always, and I have to learn to deal with that. But still, it's a collaborative process. These guys, like we were talking about with the doctor prescribed referee, the disability gimmick was my idea, but Travesty has a great idea. I'm going to use it. And that's how we all share stuff like that, but we also all respect whoever the core owner of that project is. Yeah. We give them the final say.
That's awesome. And has it taken you a while to find that in wrestling, a group that you can not only connect with gimmick wise, but outside of the gimmick when you're creating like these videos, doing the sauce and things like that? Yes, you are your character in that, but like you said, they reach out to you, they involve you. Let me ask, was that a long process to find a group like that? And when you found it, what's the Dustin feeling on that?
Sure. Yeah. So no, the initial group was Travesty, Rip, and me. And it's because the minute I met Travesty and I knew that he was the city commissioner, I walked up and I go, you city commissioner too? And he goes, yep. And then fast friends from there. Yeah. Instantly friends. Because who the fuck would have thought 2 like government officials or whatever are at the same wrestling school? Like it blew both of our minds that we ended up there. And obviously Rip is my shoot cousin. So he's old as fuck. He's 40. I'm 35. He's been in my life as long as I've existed. So he's always been there. The real nice thing is the Josh Morris edition. And that came last year or a little bit earlier. And I'd always watched his work and I had seen how the crowd responded to him. And I'm like, that's the spot I want. He's an asshole. He's funny. And the crowd loves him, even though he's an asshole. The difference between him and me is his character wins and mine doesn't. So at least there's some difference there. And he's got the musical element to it too. He's got a whole production. He's a fantastic editor. He's got a video coming out. If it hasn't yet, it's coming out this week. It looks like ROH level shit. Like the ROH editor put this together. Like he's firing on all. So all my friends are, all my fucking friends, you, Travesty, all the Tyler Wright from back in the day. I trained with him. He's doing comedy down in Texas now. He was just on fucking some big major thing down there. His girlfriend Jackie Jester is kicking ass. We are so fortunate, you and me and all the people around, that there's just so much talent here. And there's a lot of garbage. Don't get me wrong. You've been around the business enough to know 80% is fucking trash. Like people I would not normally associate with. And I don't mean to sound like a dick, but there's some gross shit out there. For instance, now's a good time. You know, when I got dragged to hell last year, that was storyline wise, but the reality was in real life, some fucking pedophile reached out to me. And this pedophile, and I'm not going to name the name of the company that this was happening at. And I know that there's going to be like 5 people that message me after they hear this podcast. Oh, who was it? Just give me. I'm not going to give anyone a name. But there's this company. One of their sponsors is a fucking pedophile. And what he does, he lives in the UK. He sends money from the UK to this company in the Midwest to have them do almost softcore simulated shit with young male referees. So I know that's a lot of information I just threw you. Let me tell you what I'm talking about here. In June of last year, I had about fucking 15 matches scheduled between then and the end of the year that I had plotted out. But a promoter got a hold of me and he goes, hey, one of our sponsors has a request for you. And it might seem weird, but he's asked other guys and they've been cool with it. And so I just want to put you guys in connection. You know, I want to connect you guys. Okay, whatever. And this motherfucker messages me. And at first it's weird, but it's not like pedophile-ish, but it could definitely like pedophile adjacent.
Okay.
He wanted this young-looking referee. He sends hundreds of dollars to this company and maybe even other companies every month to have them have a large guy, me or some other big wrestler. I'm not going to name names, but guys that you would know. Hey, have them strip down the young-looking male referees and hit them with a belt and shit in the matches, and untuck the back of their shirts and take their shoes up. Real weird, fucking specific, like almost like this guy was abused as a kid and he's fucking replaying by having a large guy do this shit to a young male. Whatever the case was, the second message he sent me was even grosser, and it's just like even more stripping. And I'm like, this is a fucking wrestling match. This isn't softcore gay porn. And that really fucking pissed me off that I was being asked to do this in the art that I love. So I fucking took a break from wrestling. And I only did 2 more matches that year. At the very end of the year, I came back and I did one with Big John Cooper because he and I had been planning this match out for months and I wanted to give him that. And then I had the Nailz show that was going to be my retirement match. Because at that point, I was just so fucking grossed out that people think it's okay to some fucking guy in a different country to send money to some small ass company in Indiana. I need to add this information. The promoter also told me that he had previously, this weirdo, this fucking pedo adjacent guy, had reached out to one of their 14-year-old referees and asked them to do the getting your shirt untucked and your belt taken off and your shoes taken off and spanked. And it's just like, once I had all that information, it was very clear to me there's some weird fucking shit and money moving around and some gross shit involving young underage or underage looking referees. And that was enough for me to go, this is fucking gross. And as much as I love wrestling, I'm not going to be a part of this anymore.
No, that's understandable. Man, that first off, who's ever,
he runs a podcast. He runs a wrestling podcast out of Manchester, the UK. I'm not going to say any more names. But there's a guy who sends money to Podunk ass Indiana to get footage of young boys being basically fucking fondled or whatever you want to call it.
That is so creepy and it also has to take the wind out of your sails personally.
Yep.
Especially being in something that you found a outlet for your creativity, for your just extra energy. And then for it to turn to the dark side, because I mean, we're both men, friends here. We both don't fuck around with shit like that.
Right.
And I personally, certain
I have a
things can
14-year-old
happen.
son. I have a 14-year-old son, a 13-year-old son, and a just turned 8-year-old son. So when I'm hearing this promoter trying to get me to do these things for money to somebody else's son, I'm hot right now thinking about it.
I bet. And that's just very disturbing. And I can understand where you're coming from, where it really took you out of the game. It did.
It blindsided me.
Yeah.
That was all fucking, like I said, I had like 15 matches plotted out for the rest of the year. I knew exactly on this date who I was facing and I was going to lose. And I had this whole big, long story. And to have out of nowhere, this guy come into my life at the encouragement of the promoter, that really broke a lot of trust I had. And when the promoter was trying to, well, it's okay, this person does it. Well, now I don't respect that fucking person. And now it makes me wonder if they're a pedophile. Like there's a gross network and I don't understand the full whatever of it, but I know in my heart there's something fishy going on and I don't want to be a part of it. And in fact, that motherfucker popped into my life again about 2 months ago when I was about to make a return, and it actually delayed my return because that fucker popped in and asked for more of the gross shit. And the promoter that put him in touch with me, don't ever fucking talk to me again. Don't ever fucking talk to me.
No, I can definitely connect with you on that. I myself have a 14-year-old daughter and then twin 13-year-old daughters. And anytime, like right now, all the media going on right now, I'm enraged on a daily basis. And I'm like, okay, they need to get into Brazilian jiu-jitsu. We need to get them guns. We need to get like that's where my mind goes, because I don't want anybody, especially a child, who's getting ready to go into the world of adulthood to go through anything. Like, don't like let them experience the bullshit that happens in adult life as it does. Like, no one needs to add anything to that. But let's get back into a serious, a more happy moment.
Yeah,
that
sorry,
was,
I just
no. That's
I don't
perfect.
air my shit publicly, and I'm never going to name a name. But people need to know, if you're getting into this industry, it doesn't matter if you're a guy. There are fucking weirdos out there, and they're going to want you for your body, and they're going to want you to do weird shit. And they're going to be people that agree with that and think it's okay. And you need to have the balls and the self-respect to go, even if I love wrestling and it's my favorite thing in the world, which it is and it was, some things aren't worth sticking around for. And when that kind of shit pops, any young guy, if there are any young guys that are breaking in right now, if a promoter ever asks you to do anything like that, get the fuck out of there and go find me or somebody else, and we'll get you booked somewhere that's not full of that bullshit, because there's no place in wrestling or anywhere for that garbage. And the fact that it's still pervasive, that pisses me off. But let's go to a happier thing. I'm going to put my Chad glasses back on because he doesn't give a shit about anything. Yeah, I fucking love kids. Oh, yeah. Don't they all go flying down the coconut tree?
You fucking Chad Nailz with a Z. You are a delight, my friend. Let me ask you real quick, because I would like to know this. Is there a chance that we see the cousin brothers possibly split up and become enemies on a promotion? And
so actually my first we went through this actually last year when I came back and I did my retirement match. I couldn't think of anyone else I wanted to be against other than Let Her Rip. Had to be. He and I have been backyard wrestling together for years. We've been tag teaming for years. So my last official match back then was against him. And then my first match back was against him. We did a birthday party, and it was Let Her Rip and Chad Nailz, and I spit cake in his face, and ultimately he won. But no, I know this is going to sound gay. I know his body better than anyone's. So he and I have been fucking around like wrestling for so long that we all know there's a little pressure this way. Oh, we're going this way. He's the only person I can say fully, I can go out there and not know a goddamn move we're going to do, and I know the match is going to be fine. Everyone else, I need to go through and step by step, like we need to hit this and this. Him, I could just know by his body positioning and what he's thinking. He and I mesh well together. He's awesome. And I wish he was here now. God damn it. I should have brought him. I'll be honest with you. I didn't bring him because he went on a podcast without me, and I thought, I'm going to do it back to him. But now that I'm here without him, it ain't the same.
Well, there is such a beautiful chemistry between you two when you guys are in character. Like, it is very synchronicity. Like, there's so many things. It's almost like you do share the same like AI program at that moment, because you guys run off each other so well. And even when we did the first interview, like, people told me before I did the interview, when I announced that we were going to do one, they told me, you have to be on your game with these two, because they're going to come at you quick, and you're going to get, and this happens, you get mesmerized by the sweetheartedness of Let Her Rip and how he's so just like, oh, don't compliment me. Oh, I'm bashful. And he does all these amazing things. But then you come in and just like Mike Tyson sucker punch somebody with a, oh yeah, you're going to hell. Okay, well, where'd that come from? I just said I like Pepsi, and you're like, I'm a fucking Coke dude. So, I love it. And it just, finding you two on that day in a random promotion just because somebody didn't show up and I happened to answer the phone call, those are magical moments in life. And I really appreciate that I found you two. And I really want you to know that Let Her Rip, well, you might want to put them glasses on. You know what's coming up, Daddy. And this is going to be a great one. And everybody, if you didn't know, he grew up and grew a beard. Here's our friend, Let Her Rip.
Ooh, White Bob Backus. We might have to stop, Josh. I think it's doing the audio thing again.
All right, hold on. Here we go. I don't know why it's fucking doing that. The thing's on. There we go.
They usually do. And
Let me start this back over. We'll go
Come
back
on, more letter rip. Nobody wants that.
Okay, let's bring this back. We'll start from go ahead, take your glasses off, and
Yep.
I'll go back from that spot.
Okay.
In 3, 2, 1. So, you know, we speak of letter rip, and I'm tired of speaking about him. Let's just see him. He's something in. So put them glasses back on. You know exactly what time it is.
Makes it harder for me to see him, which I prefer.
Here we go.
Oh, hey there. I heard you wanted to hear about my cousin brother and how he is the person you want in your corner. Let me tell you, just last week, there were some kids bullying me, as they usually do, and he didn't even know anything about it. He beat those kids up. He took their lunch money. And how did he know that they were bullying me in the first place? Regardless, he's just like that, you know? He knows things sometimes. So, yeah, that's just one of the many things. Oh, when we were kids, I'd ask him to get me a cup of soda or something like that, you know, some of that Diet Coke at Grandma's house. And he would bring it post haste and with some salt in it. But I like salt, so it's okay. It's okay, you know? Maybe that has something to do with my high blood pressure nowadays and why I have a crippling addiction to salt, but you know, that's fine. Oh, there's another thing too. He loves to do this little trick at the gas station he works at, where whenever someone comes in, he knows exactly what kind of pack of cigarettes they're gonna get.
Impressive.
Maybe he just has a lot of regulars and he just remembered it. I don't know. But it was impressive at the time he showed me. So, you know, you want him in your corner. So.
Okay, well, that's enough of white Bob Backus. I need to clarify a few things. Had I known those kids were bullying him, I wouldn't have beat the shit out of them. I would have joined in. That's number one. Number two, the salt thing is real. That's a real story. We used to, our grandma used to pretty much watch us when our parents were working. And he, because he was 5 years older, because he's old as fuck, he would always make me his slave and make me go get him things. And so eventually I just started pouring salt in or just fucking with a drink. Never noticed because he's a fucking weirdo. And when he says he has a salt addiction, he's not lying. And what was the last thing he said? I did work at a gas station like a decade ago. And one of my favorite jobs. I miss it.
You see, this is exactly why when I seen him send me a message, I was like, this is going to be fantastic. And when I watched it, I laughed. People probably thought I was insane. I was sitting in my car, just rolling, windows up, laughing at a little fucking phone while I'm watching Let Her Rip. Just be like, because I had a sense that he was dropping truth bombs. He was CM punking me with these truth bombs and just letting them roll. But this is exactly what I'm talking about when I speak of you guys in character. I love the fact, even though it wasn't a mass-produced video, he dropped in things that he knew you would be able to play off in this. You'd be able to say, hey, yeah, that's true. This is what's going on. This is what happened. And for him to do that and for you to be able, if I were to have him on, I know if I sent out something, I'd get something from you that he would play on. And I know you guys are cousins and everything. You spoke of, though, you guys did backyard wrestling together.
Yes.
So was this a promotion you guys started yourselves and had like neighborhood kids, or can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So, like I said, I first got into wrestling back in 2001, and he has a cousin from the other side of the family named Tim, and they would backyard wrestle on top of their septic tank with invisible ropes around it. And once I got into wrestling, I was like, shit, I want to do this too. And so we kind of started a little bit there. And then my own world, I had friends over in, grew up in Plainwell, Michigan. And some friends that watched wrestling, and so we started our own little backyard wrestling thing there too. And so we'd backyard wrestle at like parks around the school, or at my house, or over at Ty's house. So I had like 2 or 3 different companies that I was constantly doing stuff with, and just it's followed me all my life. It's even in the. I wish I would have brought my yearbook down. There's an actual write up in the yearbook about our backyard wrestling company, which kind of makes me feel like Edge back in the day when Edge he was in his yearbook is I'm never going to make it to WWE. I've accepted that, but I still think it's pretty fucking cool that I've made it where I'm at, and I've made fantastic friends. Sure, the crowds are anywhere between 20 and 200, never going to be 20,000, but just that's enough of a drug to make me feel high the rest of the night after everyone boos on me. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Oh yeah. I messed up on a mic one time and they booed me, and I was like, man, I love that. I want to be a heel announcer. How do I make this happen? But
these guys, there's guys that like, no, I need him to cheer me. I need to feel that. I'm like, man, I feel high when they boo me.
Yeah. It's when you know that you got that the elderly grandma in the second row, you got her so pissed she's ready to just call her friend after bingo and talk about you. That's a paycheck right there. And I really love how you find, it's almost like you find the pile of shit in the world and you turn it into a shiny object when you're in the ring. And it's almost like turning the other cheek, I guess, when you take, because you spoke about it, you're at your job, you think of something, you write it down, you basically assign it to somebody that is going to be in your future. And then you don't stop there, because you're always thinking, you're always adding on to, like you said, your chat. Someone has an idea that, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Okay, boom, Chaddy Nailz is in there. Okay, yeah, but what if we do this? Are you like that as a dad? Are you like
as a dad?
Yeah, with your kids? Is that because the more I talk to you, the more I have to know, how are you as a dad?
I think I'm the fun. It's weird. I'm the fun and the disciplinarian at the same time. Normally, parents take on one or the other. My wife is very neutral, very quiet, if you can believe that. So the times that the kids are having the most fun are when we're doing something soup together, and the times when they're most upset is when I've yelled at them for something because I'm the disciplinarian. Yeah. But my kids, I'm sound like every parent. I'm so fucking proud of my kids, though. Despite as garbage as they could have turned out having me as a dad, my kids are intelligent, they're kind, and they're creative, and I couldn't ask for anything more out of them. And so they own, the 2K20 WWE 2K24. So they all each have their own little wrestling federations, and we keep track lists of like, okay, last month was this pay-per-view and we had these 7 matches. Now the storylines are going into this. So I don't want to say I'm grooming my own kids, because that sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I'm grooming my own kids. But no, I'm getting them ready. I'm trying to make them as creative and thoughtful as possible. I always buy them like blank comic books. It's like a 28-page pre-made. All right, draw me a comic book. Your homework for this week is make me a comic book. And I'm constantly trying to give them little projects to keep that creativity going, because I know once they start wrestling when they're 15 or 16, I didn't start till I was 30. So these kids are going to have like a 14 fucking year head start on me. If I can just give them every tool possible right now, there's no reason they can't make it on TV someday, whether that's just an ROH or an AEW Dark. I know they're going to go farther than me, and I'm trying to spur that right now.
Yeah, and I mean, that's exactly what we want for our kids' future, them to go further than us. I have a daughter who's pretty much the splitting just mentality of me, but in a female form. And like I try to sneak those little things into her. Like if me and her are by ourselves riding, going somewhere, dropping her off to her clarinet lesson or something, I pop in my music and I'm like, hey, check this out. This is, she wants revenge. You don't really know about these. And then I find out she's already listening to them. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck? You shouldn't be listening to this. I'm your dad. Don't listen to this. But, listen to it. So I love that aspect about you. And I love to find out that you are that fun parent, but also the disciplinarian, because you should be. I mean, that's how we learn how to.
It has to be. And my wife she's so nice and quiet that like getting yelled at by her is just like whatever, bitch.
Yeah.
You get 6'3", 300-pound dad raising his voice. It's just like, oh fuck, yeah, we fucked up.
Yeah. Dad voice will make a back go straight real quick.
Yes.
But yeah, I love finding those things out because in these interview process, yes, we talk about what you do in a ring. We talk about who you are as a person, but to find those little nuggets that we can connect on even more builds more friendships, builds more people out there who may see this and be like, you know what? Maybe I should open up at a wrestling show and be a little more creative and see who bites on it. Because ultimately that's what this was, right? You and Let Her Rip just had this idea and then promotions bid on it. And then it's like we talk about it on the In Your House shows, all of them, every single podcast we do. We've heard it from a lot of professionals. I heard it from Bill Alfonso when we interviewed him. When you're in front of that camera, that's your time. That even if that camera's not going out to every TV in America or around the world, but it's going out to a recorder that's going to get edited. It's going to get put out a couple weeks later for fans to enjoy of that promotion. It's almost like indie famous nowadays. You know what I mean?
I think I do. Yeah. There's a small group of people online. I can sign into Facebook and I can post something and I can guess with pretty much certainty the 30 or so people that are going to respond because they're into it. They're into the indie wrestling. And so I was at I never thought this would happen. I was at a Chinese buffet like 2 years ago and this woman comes up to me. I didn't recognize her from anything, but she comes up to me. She's like, I know who you really are. And I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, don't pretend that you don't know that you're Chad Nailz. I'm like, what the fuck? So that was one of the coolest moments for me. It was like, someone recognized me from small ass indie wrestling. Again, has 20 to 200 people in the crowd. Yeah. Like that was a cool moment for me getting recognized.
Yeah. And I mean, and think about from your kids' point of view, seeing that, you know, like, holy shit. Like when I get people say, hey, what's up, voice? You know, they're like, what that's not your name. It's like, yeah, it is. In another world, that's my name. But I love that because they to me, that shows that there's a glimmering, like a little chance, a little spark of hope that if they see that and they see that you make a little connection with in a hometown somewhere, someone recognizes you, you're not in your gimmick, you're not doing anything but being Dustin, sitting down, eating Chinese food. It kind of shows that, you know, there's more to it. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the best looking body out there. But if you give yourself out there and you give that bit of creativity, someone out there is going to bite.
Yep. I think there's a phrase I really liked is everyone's a fan of something and every something has a fan. And I think that applies to this situation here. Oh yeah, very true. And you know, we get off on these little talks about things like that because, you know, it's fun. We get to reconnect about, you know, from the last time we spoke and, you know, our conversation back and forth leading up to this interview was we're really excited about this. This ability to get together again and have some fun. And looks like one of your friends dropped in again. Son of a bitch, glasses on. Yeah, get them glasses on. And fans, I am definitely going to get this one to work properly. So you guys just you mellow out there in the old household. Okay, let's get this one up. Maybe you might know the face. Let me see. Oh, Drew Weldy right there. Yeah, we got Drew coming in. Drew is thinking about before we start this, Drew is thinking about getting into this business. And Josh, you and I can attest to this. I started as a manager. You've done the commentary, you're doing the podcast, I'm doing the wrestling now. Whatever you can do to get your foot in the door to be a part of it, do. Yes. If your ultimate goal is to be a wrestler, I don't care if you where you start, just get in there and get connected with people so that when there's an opportunity to train, it's going to be that much better and easy for you. They're going to know you. They're going to like you. They're going to want to push you. They're going to want to see you succeed. So, Drew, you are an awesome guy with a great heart, and I hope that you pursue wrestling because you only live once, and you're going to regret it when you're 40 and you never went after it. Anyway.
Yes, I agree with you. I did the same like what you're talking about. I showed up to a promotion one day and I said, "Hey, I'm starting a podcast. I want to cover you guys." And then I was asked to be at every show. So yeah, definitely go out there. If that's something you're interested in, that's a way to do it. Just show up and tell them you want to work.
Yep. And be willing to do anything they ask and just come up with a positive can-do attitude. And my God, that opens so many doors. And I don't think people realize this. There's a lot of people in wrestling that weren't housebroken. They weren't house trained necessarily. And you can tell. And those are the guys not getting opportunities because they don't know how to play the game. And I'm not trying to make it sound like some sociopathic, manipulative, but you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. And a lot of these guys don't realize that. And so all I'm saying to you, Drew, keep being awesome, keep being kind, show up. And even if you don't wrestle, just be a part of it because your life is going to be so much better. All right, glasses on. I'm ready.
Here we
Helen
go.
hates this fucking idiot. You take videos for everyone, huh?
Here we go. Here's Drew.
Chad Nailz. One of the most legendary names in indie wrestling. Michigan, Indiana, wherever you went. Yeah, you had a losing streak. You had the King of Nothing champion. But you gave that champion to let her rip when you won your first match in nailz. Applaud to you. But here's the thing. You're not yourself anymore. You're not Bubbles. You're walking around with red attire and like you're such a badass now. You know, you were nice. You were cool when you had Daisy Dukes and pigtails. You looked like Bubbles. That's why we called you Bubbles. But we can't call you that anymore because you don't look like Bubbles. And I'm thinking that's why you cut off all your hair. And now you have a shiny head, shinier than a bowling ball. So guess what? Your new name is Human Thumb. I'll see you at the next event. I'll be waiting.
You better be careful of this human thumb's going straight up his ass. From
Wow.
the sounds of him liking me and my Daisy Dukes, he'd probably enjoy.
You ain't lying. That came with some. I thought it was going to be a sweet, just hey, how are you doing? I miss you in a ring, and then it's like telling you you're no more than a human thumb anymore. Like, what is going on, Chad Nailz?
I don't know why people have a problem with me. I'm nothing but nice to all these dumbasses.
I mean, I've never dealt with anything else but niceness with you.
Thank you, Joshua.
Yeah, well, I'm there. You said something that, struck a chord with me. I got some honey out. I'm trying to attract the flies over here. But we get moments like that. Okay, so we've played a few videos. We got some guys trying to poke the bear, and then you get a nicer one, I guess. I mean, he did call you a human thumb, which I
don't know what your definition of nice is, but Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, he didn't point out that you were beat in tic-tac-toe on the back of your brother cousin's back.
Like, thanks for reminding me of that as well. This is my favorite podcast ever. You just make me feel good every moment of it. Thank you.
And that's what we do here. That's what in your house, the window lickers, that's what we're all about. Let me ask you this, because I've asked a lot of people I've interviewed one of these questions. It's usually just one of them that I have out there, just wanting to gauge where you're at. If you had a choice, you get Saturday night WWE WrestleMania main event. What match are you having? Who's your opponent? Any added stipulations? And what city will you have it in?
Okay, that's a great one. My answer will probably not be what you're used to. I would rather at WrestleMania have a promo off against somebody than have an actual wrestling match.
Okay.
And it's going to sound stupid because this person isn't WWE, but Dan Lambert from AEW, when he was doing his thing a couple of years ago, I thought if I can I don't give a shit about celebrities. I mean, I have a Chris Jericho tattoo and he signed it and I had it tattooed in, but I was fucking 20 when that happened. 35-year-old Dustin, I don't give a shit about like the wrestlers that made it because we're all doing the same job and they're more famous.
Yeah.
But Dan Lambert, I look at that guy and I go, he's got that's a talent you can't teach. He has the most perfect way to fucking just take someone and just bring him down and say really awful things in a way that doesn't get him quite canceled. He has that perfect sweet spot between like, can he say that? Well, I guess he can, but it's always hurtful and clever. And that's what I want. Now, the problem with Chad is he always spins nice at the end for some reason. He's a fucking idiot. Chad spins nights, and he's a fucking idiot. I hate Chad. Dan Lambert's a prick all the time, and I wish I had that in me to be that character who never has the niceness in him, who never winks at the audience, who doesn't get his comeuppance, who just comes down and shits on everyone and says horrible things and gets away with it. That's the dream. And if I could have a promo off with him at WrestleMania in, let's say, Chicago, so everyone around here can come see it. Oh, girl, I would love to have a promo off with him. He's, I think, my favorite guy on the mic post Macho Man and Chris Jericho. Like after they had their peaks, Dan Lambert's the man. I miss seeing him.
No, that's awesome. Where now going off of that, where would you if Chaddy Nailz with a Z and Let Her Rip got offered a contract, where do you guys think, not where do you want, but where do you think your characters, your ability is going to shine and get over with their crowd the most?
Yeah, so we would be the whatever jobber comedy tag team there is.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think of like a more recent example. I guess that's the best way I can sum it up is we would be that team. So think pre-major success Edge and Christian when they're going out and doing the fucking kazoos and they're doing the 5-second pose.
Okay.
That's exactly the role that Let Her Rip and I would be in. We'd get our asses beat all the time. We wouldn't be champions. Nobody would ever consider us on the Mount Rushmore. But they're going to be people that every time they tune in, they go, man, I can't wait for the Cousin Brothers segment. What are they going to do this week? I know that I will never be WrestleMania main event caliber, but if I can carve out a niche for myself as the comedy act or as the guy that runs his mouth and then immediately gets his, shit turned in.
Yeah.
That's a perfect role for me.
I love it. Which promotion do you think would suit that?
So if we were talking ROH from like the mid 2000s when like the brothers, oh fuck, why am I drawing a blank on their name right now? The one just passed in a car accident last year, the Briscoe brothers.
Oh yeah.
They're running around and they're calling people faggots and retards and all this stuff, and like that would fit Chad Nailz.
Yeah.
Modern wrestling, oh fuck, we'd probably be relegated to like a Collision as like a fucking piss break or something. Who knows?
Well, I used to cover Collision every Saturday night.
I loved Collision when Punk was on it. I'm a Punk guy. Through and through a Punk guy. And the minute he left, I stopped watching AEW because I'm like, fuck this.
Well, and I'll say the minute Andrade left, I stopped because I actually became a huge fan of Andrade through his AEW run. And I like what you're saying about Punk. Same thing. I know a lot of people. I bought every damn shirt that he came out with out of AEW because I was like, he's doing it. He's coming back to the ring. We need to witness it because it's not going to be much longer, but he's here now. Let's see it. And, it just seems like they may have nosedived since then. And it's like
ratings, attendance, just overall quality of product. Absolutely. I mean, I can't be the only person who I bought Sling. I don't know if you know what Sling is, but it's like a fucking streaming service. It's the only way you can get AEW. I bought Sling. I bought all the pay-per-views. I'm buying the action figures. I'm buying the t-shirts for my kids, all when Punk's there. And the second he's gone, they didn't get another dime from me. Now my money's going to WWE. And I can't believe I don't think I'm the only person alive who feels that way. Like Punk, I'm normally not a mark, but man, when back in 2011, I was kind of getting out of wrestling because, I was early 20s. I just had my first couple kids. Like life was different. But then that motherfucker cuts a pipe bomb and it's like, oh, I'm back in. I'm hooked because I had never seen someone approach wrestling that way and say the things about the top face in a real way that I felt. And so I'm going to be loyal to him till I die. That motherfucker is my favorite.
Yeah. I can see where you're coming from on that. For me, it was like growing up as a child watching, obviously it was like the Hulk Hogan's, the Roddy Pipers. But once I seen Sabu in a ring, I was like, this is wrestling. I understand wrestling now. And if I ever get to talk to that man, I'm definitely going to be a teenage girl with him. I'm just going to be like, oh my God, it's Sabu.
Oh, you won't be a teenage girl for me. Those are my favorite kind.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've never seen you take barbed wire out of your bicep and then duct tape it back and go back.
Well, I fell on tracks once and they barely stuck and it sucked Didn't look nearly as cool as I wanted it to.
Ooh.
Didn't hurt as bad as they say it does either. It's really kind of a burn from where the sweat goes in the holes. But I was so pissed. I had never taken my shirt off around strangers, and I'm in the match. It's Brutus Dillon versus Charlie Cruel. Now she's Charlie Pierce, I think, but back then she was Charlie Cruel. They're in a hardcore match. I'm so self-conscious of my body, but I was like, fuck, if I'm taking a tack bump, I need to take my shirt off. So I rip it off, and to my surprise, the crowd goes, woo! And I was like, thanks for making me feel good. Charlie kicks me in the face. I back bump onto tacks. I get up, and I see a picture of it, and it's 2 tacks in me. And I'm just like, I fell on that whole fucking thing. Got poked a bunch, and only 2 stayed in my body. I don't even know how I got to this story, but it just popped in my head.
No, that's fantastic because like you and Let Her Rip, I also did backyard wrestling. And we did it so much that we ended up, a friend of ours, his mom and dad ended up moving, and they left him the land and the house for him and his brother. There was a barn on the property. So we built a ring inside a barn, and we would invite, people from school. There would be at least 30 to 40 people in our barn watching us do this lame ass show with ropes that were like garden hose and then like rope in the middle of the garden hose, and then eye bolts and beams and shit. But it was fun. And I did take thumbtacks in there. I was one of the more hardcore wrestlers. I actually got hit in the head with a stop sign that split my head open. And
those fuckers are heavy and not as loud as you want them to be.
No, and that you have to hit it with the flat part, because if you take that corner, that will split you open quick. And then people go, "Oh, you should go to a hospital." So I've been there. I know what you mean. Those thumbtacks, they are something else. They have a mind of their own. Every little one of them.
What was your gimmick name back then? What was your working name?
I had 2. I had one, the hardcore champion invert, and then I had my almost stone cold rock guy that was on my buddy's show, because we alternated. He had one show one week, and then I would do a show the next week. So we alternated. So on his show, I was Johnny Be Good.
Okay.
Yeah. I had this gimmick that I was trying to be the champion. It was almost like Tommy Dreamer was kind of mixed in there, because I could never just get over and become a champion. But I was a main eventer. But yeah, we had some fun. We had a guy who did an imitation of Hulk Hogan. He did a Bulk Bogan.
Okay.
And he would come out, and he was just, he was a portly fella. And we had another guy who came out basically like Austin. He did the whole gimmick and everything, and then his brother ran that show, and so they would fight, and it was fun. It was a way to get our ideas out there and to even discover if we even like this. And I've never stopped liking wrestling. There was moments where I may not have watched every Raw, but I've always been hooked. There's something about that world that takes you out of reality and kind of gives you your own personal reality for however long the show's on, or for however long you're watching it. And that's what you guys do for me. Like, I got shit at work like everybody. I got shit at home, personal shit I'm dealing with. But in these moments, I get to step away from that, and I get to be in something that I enjoy, and that I may not have full control over it, but we have some type of control that we know we're staying in a bubble that's going to make us giggle, at least. And hopefully it makes someone else giggle. And, that's where I come from when I approach all of these, especially when you reach out and you're like, "Hey, I got this idea." They don't even know that this has been in works for quite a while. We've been going back and forth with this, and it's really cool for them to, see that these different sides of you, the Dustin side, the fans.
The Dustin side is boring and sucks, but I appreciate that you're giving me a platform here.
No, the Dustin side is what allows Chaddy Nailz to get away with all this shit Chaddy Nailz gets away with. And it makes me happy to know that we do have we have people out there who actually give a shit about what we do and what we're about. And I honestly I don't know about you. You're the professional at this. I know it's indie, but you get paid. I've always was told by an art teacher, once you get paid for the craft you do, you're a professional. So
I'm going to use that going forward, because a lot of times it doesn't feel like it. Because a lot of times people are like, "Oh, you're not on TV, or you're not making $5,000 a night." Like, oh, it's not professional. I had a former friend. We're not really friends anymore, but he's like, "So what should I call you? I mean, you're a professional wrestler, but you're not professional. What's the word for that?" And it's just like, "Fuck you" is the word for it, buddy.
Yeah, it's you're a cunt. That's what the word. Yeah. I mean, an art teacher told me that in my 9th grade because somebody wanted to buy a project I was working on, and I was like, "I'm no pro artist. Like, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "No. Once you sell that, you are a professional. You've made money at it. That's the ultimate goal. No one can tell you any different because you've made money at it." So that's how I like to see it and look at it. And I hate to do this to you. Get them on.
Glasses, okay.
Get them on. I know they're killing you, but get them on. You chose this, not me. And again, we reached out. We pulled in a gem. You know him. You love him.
Oh, Giuseppe Gambini! I trained with Giuseppe Gambini. He was one in my our class was seven guys, and I fucking love Giuseppe Gambini. And if you can't tell from how good he is at a promo, he's one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in real life. He's got a fucking PhD. He's got a fellowship with some major university doing brain science shit. Like, he is incredible, and I love him. And hopefully he says nice things, and I'm not setting him up to shit on me.
Well, let's just hit play and see where we go from here. I mean, I think that's how we do this. All right. I'm kind of worried, but let's see what he has to say. I think it'll be good.
All right, we're rolling. Is the video record? Who's this for? In your house? Is this for Top Angel? Didn't I get rid of that a long time ago? Man, Chad Nails. What the hell am I supposed to say about what is this for? Oh, you don't know. Yeah. You're still not get out of here. What can I say about one of my best buddies in the world, Chad Nails? I mean, what's there not to say? He's kind of clean sometimes. He's dependable. If I ever need something, I call him. He comes rolling through with his little brother cousin guy that they're adorable. You love him. But listen, this is all you need to know about Chad Nails. You got Chad Nails on your team, you're already a winner. You know what I'm saying? All right, listen, I gotta go. You enjoy your day. Cut! All right, listen, enough of this fugazi BS. What favors do we have to do to flub up a guy like Chad Nails? I mean, of all the pieces of garbage in the whole world. Is it red video record? Is it red video record?
I fucking love him, and this is what I'm talking about. He is so intelligent. Some people are going to be sad when I say this. My favorite promos to listen to. Now, there are promos that like visually have a lot in it but just to sit and listen to a guy talk, Giuseppe Gambini is my favorite guy to listen to. Ever since I've trained with him, when he cuts a promo, he doesn't sound like that in real life. And he doesn't have to do this with his voice like I do with mine. He actually sounds like a real fucking Italian. And he always has these really clever things, and his jokes he weaves throughout, and then he has a good punchline at the end. I fucking love him.
Yeah.
I hate Italians, and I'm glad they're not considered white anymore.
Wow. Chad Nails with a Z coming in, going after the Italians. I will say when Giuseppe sent this, and I've seen a handful of matches of his. I've seen what he does, and I wasn't sure about it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to check this out because this is Chad Nails with a Z. How did these two connect? So I'm watching it, and it gets to the end.
Yep. No, he's a genius.
He went in on you so softly, but so harshly. That is fantastic. You are correct. He is a genius when it comes to that. I'm diving more into what he does. I think it's fantastic.
He's so good. I wish he didn't hang up the boots. He just had he and his beautiful wife just had their second kid here in the last year or two. You know, he's older. He's had some hips replaced. And he's got a really important brain. Like, that thing should not be getting hit with chairs or smacked on the mat. Like, that man is a treasure. I love him so much. I wish he could have been able to like stick around longer than he did. But while he was here, he made like a top 10 list in Pro Wrestling Illustrated. He fucking was a tag team champion, and he's just one of my favorite people to listen to. He could just cut promos all day, and I'd consume them. I would just sit there and consume them.
Well, after that one, I can see where you're coming from on that because it was fantastic, and that was the first one. Like as soon as you put that post out there, hey, send this to my friend here. I got one, and I was like, oh my God, I hope a million of these come in like this because it was fantastic, and it really speaks to volumes in a real aspect that these people did reach out for this specific thing. I mean, in reality, we are nothing more than atoms on this planet flying through the air. You know, there's nothing really special about us. There's just a handful of people who understand what we're doing and like our sense of humor. And I feel like if you go about life in that type of aspect, when you're doing something creative like this, you can kind of shoo away the hurt, the issues that happen through it, because honestly, we're putting ourselves out there. You know, you're doing it in a ring. You know, you have usually a tag partner with you. You have this ability to kind of just not let those things bother you. I know we spoke about what took you out for that last time. But
I'm glad you brought that up though, because I want to tie that into this. I was actually supposed to have my first ever singles match, not my first ever singles, my first ever match with Giuseppe Gambini. It was going to be a singles match. And right before his and my match is when that fucking pedophile reached out to me. Mm-hmm. So I never got to wrestle with Giuseppe Gambini because it's just like, I canceled all my bookings, every company.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? This is not what I signed up for. So I'm really sad he and I never got to actually be in the ring together, because I know the match would have been shit. He and I aren't fucking doing flip-de-doos and you know, technical wrestling, but I know he and I could entertain the shit out of that crowd with a microphone in our hand, and I'm sad that never happened, and I'm so grateful that he took the time out of his busy, meaningful life. He's at real meaningful shit he's doing to do that for me. Giuseppe, thank you so much.
See that, and that's the magic of all this, you know, for that moment to happen. You don't expect it. You know, I expected you to be grateful that people reached out, but to have a personal touch like that with Giuseppe, even though it's not, you know, it would have been cool to see you guys do something together in a ring. And like you alluded to, the in-ring work and the promo work, I think would have been phenomenal. Tell me you would have been there. We would have got a Chad Nails with a Z at a deli shop yelling about something, maybe throwing a sandwich. Who knows? But there could have been so many possibilities right there.
Yep.
Absolutely love it.
Dude, Giuseppe, I'm sorry, bud. I never told you why. That's the reason why that match got canceled. So, well,
now you know. So, but you know, who knows? We could probably get something together where we get a 2K24 or something and make a couple characters.
There you go.
Who knows? You never know. You
won't be able to scale the charisma high enough for Giuseppe Gambini, though. It's always going to be less than what he deserves.
Well, and you won't get the, you know, beautifulness scaled up enough for you, buddy. You're cutting yourself short there. You gotta highlight the package that everybody's there to see. We know it's you, Chaddy Nails with a Z.
Yeah.
Do you like how that flowed? I liked it. I impressed myself.
Well, yeah, that was one of us at least. Keep going, bud. What else you got for me?
Yeah. Well, we got a couple more fan videos to show you. I'm gonna save those to the end though. I got a couple more questions because I know you got a dad life to get to, and Chad Nails with a Z's probably got some, I don't know, meth labs to try to put his wiener in test tubes.
Only. You think I stick my wiener in the meth? You think my wiener is long enough to go down in the beaker? I'm flattered you think that, but no. I'll be real with you.
I had a friend in high school, and we called him Spaghetti Wiener.
Oh, I have the opposite problem. Tuna can.
Tuna can. I was nicknamed Coke Can in high school. So, hey, another thing we can.
I'm north of 2.5 inches. Anyway,
absolutely love this guy. But let me get a couple more questions, and then we'll get you on your way. Just real quick, what is Dustin's favorite video game and movie to just sit down and chill with?
Okay, so I don't chill with movies. I'm the type that if a movie's on, everything has to be completely quiet, and I am totally enamored by the glowing rectangle. Like
Okay.
I don't want anything fucking. So to that end, I'm a big pretentious A24 douchebag. I really
Ooh.
like the A24 films. So Midsummer is my all-time favorite film. Hereditary is up there. This is an A24, but Joker 2019, before they went and made it all gay, making it a musical, that was my favorite film.
Yeah.
But I've since seen Midsummer a few times, and it's just like, there's some. If you haven't seen Midsummer, my God, go watch it. I got a copy. I'll send it to you in the mail. Whatever you got to do. Florence Pugh is bae. She is so gorgeous. She's going to be my third wife. I've only had one. I figure there's going to be a buffer in between, but someday she's gonna be craving a dose of vitamin Z. Okay, where are my glasses? That was
Chaddy.
Chad talking the whole time. No,
Yes, that was Chaddy Nails with a Z talking the whole time.
video game wise, right now I'm playing Dark Souls 2 because I just beat Elden Ring for the 4th time, and I thought maybe I should take a break and go play something else. Also a huge fan of Death Stranding. If you've ever heard of that, I know people shit on it and call it a walking simulator. It's so much more than that once you get into it.
Okay.
And then for an indie game, this game called Indica came out 2 or 3 months ago, and it's about this nun, and it is the most unique experience I've ever had. And I will tell anyone who will listen, go play Indica.
Oh, I smoke indica. So
I figured.
I mean, we're connecting yet again.
If Dustin smoked, I'm sure he'd smoke sativa because he likes feeling up.
Ah, yeah. Well, I like to be in the couch.
I sativa, what you did there, that doesn't work as good. Damn it.
I liked it though. I liked it. It worked for me. So I think that was your core audience at that moment. Okay, let me ask Chaddy Nails with a Z.
Okay.
One last question.
Yeah.
All right. You and Let Her Rip just had one of the best tag team matches you've ever had. You're running on a high. Everybody in the crowd hated you. They threw things at you. They adored Let Her Rip. What do you and Let Her Rip pull over and eat for a celebration meal?
You can eat my dick if they're cheering for him and not me, for all I care. Fuck him. That ain't fair. Why were they cheering for him? We're on the same team, damn it. We're basically the same person. I think I told you this before. You take his head and smush it in with mine. It makes a whole head of hair.
Yeah.
So why do people like him and not? What's my problem? Huh? Why do people think I'm a fucking hothead, Joshua? Why do people not like me? Huh? You cunt? Will you tell me why they don't like me?
I can't tell you because I adore you. So
yeah,
yeah.
I don't care what Rip says about you behind your back.
Oh wow, what a!
He
wow.
doesn't say anything bad about anyone behind their backs. He's a little girl.
Well, all right, Chaddy Nails with a Z, Dustin, whomever's in that head right now. Let me tell you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me on this. It's truly a fun experience every time we get together and we get to have these moments, or we even just talk on just you congratulating me or me congratulating you on something. It's a fun friendship that we are building, and it's a much appreciated that you take the time out to come upon something that I'm putting my heart and soul into, and give me the performance that you give me every time. I'm truly a fan of you. No matter what you do, even if you don't even get in a ring again and you just sit somewhere and comment, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be watching, because there's not many people out there like you, like Let Her Rip, like Josh Morris, like Travesty, like all these guys, even Giuseppe out there. I mean, it's so cool that you in this past month have shown me different people to check out. Giuseppe, checking out his career from past. I've always watched Josh Morris. I'm a Josh Morris fan. I mean, even we had Kai Knight, the referee, reach out.
I fucking love Kai Knight.
Yes, I mean,
he was. Let me show you something. So when I really thought that my last match last year was my last match ever, this sweetheart named Patty Tyer. I was working at a hardware store at the time, and she and her daughter came and watched me. And they, I don't know if you could see it, but they made me this photo album. And on the front cover of the photo album was Kai Knight holding up my arm for the one match I finally won. And so that motherfucker will always have a spot in my heart because he was part of one of my most favorite moments in my entire existence. And we talked about people getting booed. When people cheered me, that felt even better, but I don't want to admit it.
Yeah, you know it did. You know it did. When you get that acceptance at that level, it's almost overwhelming sometimes. And there's not many more words I can form to give you for the appreciation I have of what you do, what you've done, and what you're going to do. And the fact that you're telling me that your sons, there's a chance that this lineage can continue. I'm hooked, man. I can't wait to be 60 and have one of your kids on my podcast. I don't even know if they'll have podcasts then. They might have something new.
Yeah, by then the technology will be something even different. It'll be instantaneous transmission or some shit.
But I think that would be very cool and just like a very rounded moment. And that's all I've ever tried to create with this. We're going to be releasing.
Let me thank you real quick. Thank you for having this platform, for being open to a loudmouth idiot like me, for being a good guy, for getting it, for going along with it, for all the kind things you say. Like you're like a Travesty or a Josh Morris or a Let It Rip, where you know that if you, well, one, you're creative, and two, you also know if you build people up, they'll build you up too. Like it's all about reciprocity. You have that skill that I talked about earlier with the honey as opposed to vinegar. You get it. Why wouldn't you be nice to people? They'll be nice to you back. But a lot of guys don't get that, and you do, and you're one of the few, and I appreciate you.
Well, I thank you very much. That's exactly what I'm trying to put out in this world. I appreciate anybody who wants to come and talk to me. I don't care.
Well, I know a bunch of guys that do, because I'll admit, some of the guys I told I was on here, they were like, hey, I've been wanting to get on there. And I was like, well, maybe let me get my foot in the door a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, I need you to make me a few promises, Joshua. I can only call you Joshua with my 3 promises, Joshua. I want you to, if you can, Travesty wants to be on this podcast very badly. Can you make that happen someday? You don't have to answer now. Just okay.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
My son, Cage, he's going to be a year and a half away from training, if not sooner. Please keep your podcast around long enough that you can interview my old.
I can do that.
And then the third one, I forget where I was going with it, but I got 2 other sons, so stick around long enough for them too. Deal?
That's fantastic. Yeah, I can strike that deal with you now. Yes, I would love to have all of those guys on here, especially when your son does start training. I would love the perspective of somebody who is starting and getting that out there and just watching them grow and see where it goes for them. And to catalog that here would be truly like my Scorsese moment. You know, I could definitely do something with that. You know, these right now are like my De Niro moments when he stepped outside and he did Bronx Tale, you know, so people might like it, they might not, but just wait, because I'll be back. You know, I don't know. That was my Bobby. Wasn't very good. But we move on. But yes, again, I love the fact that you're out there doing it. And speaking of that, we're going to be dropping this interview a week from now. So next Wednesday.
Okay.
So
let me see what the date obviously is. That October 2nd?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I want you to do, where are you going to be from that time on so they can know where to go?
Oh, sure.
And check out old Chaddy Nailz.
Yeah, the next time you can check out Chad Nailz, I believe the date is October 12th. It's going to be at GLWA. I'm doing Vendetta there. It's a pre-show. It's not the main card. I'm working my way up, proving my worth. Then in November 2nd, there's a chance I'm performing in Jackson for AWE. That's not a for sure thing, but I did my first 2 matches with them here in the last couple weeks and a couple months. And I think that went really well. So I'd like to continue a relationship with them. And then, of course, November 3rd, to me, it's the big one of the year for me. That's in Niles, Michigan. It's a charity show. Last year, it drew about 400 fans. That's where I had my retirement. And that's actually where Let It Rip and I are going to reunite as a tag team for the first time in about a year. So If you want to see the Cousin Brothers of Destruction, Sunday, November 3rd, nailz. You can look it up. I think it's called Rumble for a Reason.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. I've seen things flying around about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Everybody go out there and check this spectacular site that you'll see, the Cousin Brothers of Destruction. It's fantastic.
Reuniting. And we're going against my longtime rival, the first person I ever faced in wrestling, Jensen, and her stupid family. She's got a stupid dad and an even stupider little sister. It's the Cousin Brothers going to teach them there's only one family in indie wrestling, baby.
Very true. Very true.
Before we go, Joshua, I don't want to pull your strings, but do we have any more videos for me? Did anyone else send anything in for me?
We do, and I was getting right to it. Chaddy Nailz with a Z. See, you hang out with him, he links up with your mind, and then you're out robbing meth labs at 3 o'clock in the morning. But that's okay, because it's an experience you get to have some fun with. So let's jump into it. We got some people who jumped in, and we talked about them last time, or well, just a couple moments ago. You showed us a picture of them.
Kai Knight, baby, yeah.
Kai Knight is going to be
Kai Knight's going to be my doctor prescribed referee, just so we're on the same page.
You know, when you said that, I didn't want to burst the bubble, but that's exactly who I was thinking about, because I think he can play it so well. And his video, there's no video, there's audio.
Oh,
he like recorded the ceiling, I believe. So here we go. We're gonna listen to what old Kai Knight has to say about Chaddy Nailz.
Hey, Chad Nailz, your friend Ref Kai here. I know a lot of people are gonna get on here, say these mean things, call you that word that we don't like to talk about. It starts with a B. We're just gonna not talk about that. But we've been good friends here for a while, last couple of years, and last year I got to ref your match that you finally got the win in, and then you went off to hell, and this year it seems like you've been kind of back on that losing streak again. And I know that's not what you want. I think we can work together and maybe message me. We can finally figure something out and get you back on that winning ways and get you happy again and make you prove all these people that are doubting you and hating you that they're wrong, and we can party like we did last year when you got that win. Get a hold of me, buddy. Hey,
that is I was going to say, that is exactly the kind of unbiased referee I need on my side. Clearly, someone who's going to call it right down the middle.
Very true. I mean, Kai seems to thoroughly enjoy what you're doing, and who can blame him? I mean, you're out there doing your thing. You're getting, fans like Kai. Kai is he's a very nice. Like, I've met him 3 times, and he was super nice. Like, he just there's a spark in him where he just wants to help, and he wants to put on the best show. And I think if anybody out there, go out there, check out Kai, what he's doing. He's definitely one hell of a referee, and he's ready to embark on whatever any promotion wants to throw at him. So hit him up, get him out there.
Kai is fantastic, and out of, like, I don't want to say out of all the but really out of like all the referees I've worked with recently, I don't want anyone's feelings hurt by saying someone's better than other people, but I see a very bright future for Kai, and I wouldn't be surprised if that guy, if he can make the right connections and network with the right people, he could be on television. He's got the look, he's got all the skills, he knows all the fucking point when this thing happens, point and do this. He's up. I've never seen him make a mistake. I've never seen him do something. I'm like, he could have done that better. I'm like, oh, this guy gets it. He's got the look and he's got the attitude. That guy can go so fucking far.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kai, I know you're watching this, Kai, when it releases. So just keep doing what you're doing, man. People are noticing.
Yep.
All right. So let's dive into, I believe this might be the last one. We might have one more after it. I'll check. Here we go.
Let's see who it is. Oh, okay. Tommy Miller. I'm going to preface this. Tommy Miller was my first fan. I trained at RCW, and I made a soft debut as like a security guard. But I was still kind of healed up a little bit. Then my next role was kind of a heel special guest referee, and then I was a heel manager and then a heel wrestler. He was the first person I could tell he was watching me, and it clicked for him. He's like, I get this guy. And ever since then, he said he's my biggest fan, and I ain't gonna argue with him because he was the first. And he's been there every time. He takes phenomenal pictures of me. He's got a brother, Robert, who is a sweetheart that I always say and heal with to his brother. And I don't know if his brother necessarily knows that I'm just being a dick right then and not actually meaning it, because I love both of them. But for whatever reason, his brother, I treat like shit. I don't know. But Tommy, I love Tommy. When I come out, and I'll shit on everyone else in the crowd, but I'll give him a hug. And that kind of puts a target on him for that match too. Like, why is that asshole supporting Chad Nailz? So I love Tommy. I'm excited to hear what he has to say.
That's awesome. We're going to get into what Tommy has to say. Here we go.
Why I love Chaddy Z. Chaddy Z can get under anybody's skin. And that's what I love about him the best. He gets the crowd so wild up. That's the best thing ever to see. Him getting the crowd so antsy and fired up. You go at it. And when the crowd chants bubble at him, that's not nice. I don't like when they call him bubble. But Chaddy Z is one great wrestler. I followed him since day one. His attire and gimmick is the best. Love you, Chaddy Z.
I love you, Tommy Miller. And that's just Chad and Dustin talking. That's both of us, bud.
Yes.
I'll do the glasses on one eye. We both love you.
That's awesome. I absolutely loved getting these, and to see one like that with Tommy just saying, you know, how much he actually does love what you do. And like you alluded to, he's a day one fan. So like you cannot knock any bit of that, because this is what it's about. This is where we're at, what we're trying to build, and what we're trying to accomplish all together, to get a little bit of fans. You know, if you like us, you like us. But when we do get those fans and they reach out like that, I mean, that right there takes the cake.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm glad you saved that for last. That's the no, and I'm so I am so grateful, honest to God, for every single person who sent stuff in. But that one's extra special. Tommy Miller. He was the first guy that fucking, when everyone else was booing me, he got it. And he's been with me ever since. Tommy, I love you, man. I hope you and your brother are doing awesome. And I hope to see you guys again soon.
Yes, that's awesome, because when I did get that, I knew once he told me he was your very first fan, and then you've just cemented it with my choice of putting it at last, because that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted everybody to understand throughout those videos, there's guys out there who get what Chad's doing in the gimmick world, and they showed us. We had Josh Morris, we had Giuseppe, we had Travesty, just doing what they do. And then the rest of them, even Let Her Rip, he was a part of that. But the rest of them were the fans, the ones who see what you're doing, who see what Dustin's about, who understand what you're out there doing and trying to just make people smile. I think overall, that's your main goal, is to make somebody have an emotion. And it's mostly, you know, if it's hate, that's fine, because at the end of the day, if they really hate a guy in a ring covered by 4 ropes, I mean, you could find something else, kick a cat or something. Jeez.
Right.
Like that guy out there is trying to perform for you. And again, I know I've said it multiple times on this podcast, throughout other shows and things like that. Thank you for just being you, man, for just being the Dustin who brings us Chaddy Nailz with a Z, who's introduced us to the Cousin Brothers of Destruction, who I honestly, when you were gone that year, it kind of sucked not seeing highlights. It kind of sucked not seeing you doing something in a ring. And I'm happy that you're back. And I'm being 100% honest with you. I cannot wait to see what you do in the next few weeks, the next months, and the couple of years that you have going left in this world, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Likewise, for you, all the success you're having within your house and all your projects. Thank you for that. Thanks for always being positive. There's not enough positive people in the world, and you're one of them. And I appreciate that. Truly. It makes me feel good. And in turn, I want to make other people feel good. So thank you for being a good source for that. Let's do this again next year, man. Let's touch base next year. Let's see how things are going. By then, maybe my son will be training. Bring him on. Make sure you've had, fucking Letter Rip and Travesty and all the people on. Giuseppe, anyone who wants to come on here. Hell yeah, let's keep doing this.
Oh, most definitely. I love the energy. I love every show that we do get to do together. It's a real fun moment in my life. I truly enjoy it. And like you said, any of you out there who want to just come in and be a part of this, I'm a message away. That's all you got to do. You just hit me up. I will talk to somebody. If your job is you just spray Lysol in a building, I want to know about it. I want to know what gets you through that damn day. If you're an indie wrestler out there, the voice wants to talk to you. So come on the show, message me, and let's get it done, because you could be a part of this. I did all this. I set all this up. Everything you see here, this is all inspired. We got Evil Elmo there. We got Shooter Elmo up there. And these are just things I thought of. And those are the actual gates of hell. So
literal gate. He went down to hell. He excavated it, brought it back up top, and took a picture of it. That's how committed he is to this.
Very committed. And Chad will let you know, I will bug the hell out of you until we get it right and we get something that we both can enjoy. So again, Chad Nailz with a Z. Dustin, thank you for your time. Most importantly, I know it's taken away from your family, but we got to find a little more about what makes you tick. And I think that's the most important part. If you have any last messages, right now is your time to get them out there.
No, just anyone listening who's ever wanted to be in the wrestling business but doesn't think they're able to, I swear to God, there is a place for you. Whether it's as a wrestler, as a manager, as a podcaster, as a commentary person, as someone with ring crew, there's nothing more, and I have kids, there's nothing more rewarding to me than wrestling. And if you have that same passion in you, do whatever you can to get a foot in the door. And as long as you play the game, you follow the rules, and you have at least the tiniest bit of creativity in you, you're going to go places. Probably not to WWE. That's 1 out of fucking 10,000 wrestlers. So get that out of your head right now. But if you want to go inside those 4 ropes and make people make noises when they see you and give you that feeling you don't get anywhere else, fucking find it. Isaiah Moore, GLWA. He just started training 3 days a week. Anyone who's interested, hit him up. I don't know of many other schools right now. I went through RCW school. I will say nothing but praises about their training school. They gave me all the tools that I need to be able to go out and do what I do.
That's
awesome.
So
that's just find a place, do what it takes. You have someone drive you there, have someone spot you the $20 for class, whatever it takes, get your ass there. And with that, I'm gonna go. But Josh, thank you again. Thank you so much, and go fuck yourself.
All right, fans, that was it. Check us out, and we cannot wait to catch you on the next one. So for that, for the voice, for Chaddy Nailz with a Z, and for the beautiful bearded Bambino himself, let her rip. We'll see you on the next one.
With O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. I did wood in your house. Hypocrisy's handing me clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Come to us for your losing opinions. We got a voice. There is no choice. We is the voice. In your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast is like cruiserweight action. Your house is a perfect distraction. Help us see your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action.